Hello everyone, hope you are doing well. This video has been specifically created for you, has been specifically created for everyone who is interested in the CIMA operational case study exam or is going to take their operational case study exam in the coming attempts. We have created this video that gives you an understanding of what this exam is, how you're supposed to study for it, what's going to be the format, what are the important areas that you need to study for this exam. All of this has been covered in this one very interactive video. Before we move on, note that we are CIMA registered tuition providers. So each and everything that we suggest is well founded, is well researched, and it will really help you give a good shot at this exam with confidence. So my name is Devansh, and I will be the lead tutor for your operational case study exam. For your operational case study exam, my job is to provide a framework that will help you build confidence towards writing this exam in a very easy and flexible way. I will be leading discussions in my live classes and making sure that students are engaged and they feel challenged. I will show you how to flexibly manage your time while you are studying alongside a full-time job or a full-time other commitment, and we'll give you a study framework that really helps you maximize your potential and helps you study in a very let's say flexible way. So it's my job to create the framework for you. It's your job to then simply follow the framework. Each and everything regarding your operational case study exam comes from us, is controlled by us, and is very, very carefully planned, and it will be introduced to you step by step. So in this video, alongside explaining to you what the operational case study exam is and you know what the format of the exam is, we will also be introducing to you how studying with us can make your study approach, your exam approach very flexible, very streamlined, and something where which gives you a structure that if you follow, you gain confidence every day of the course. Our personal attention is the reason that we get our high pass rates. You can have a look at our testimonials on our website, on our LinkedIn page, on our YouTube channel as well. You will see that if the course is followed, you are bound to do well. So now we actually go on to what is a case study exam. So because you're doing the operational case study exam, it's bound to be the first case study that you undertake with CIMA. Now you can come from different routes onto this case study, which means there are students that receive exemptions. That means you have not taken the individual E1, P1, and F1 exams and you're directly coming in and sitting the case study. Or you may have sat the E1, P1, and F1 exams, which is the conventional route, and then you move on to the case study. Now, in any case, if you've received the exemptions, if you have come through the normal route, you still need E1, P1, and F1 knowledge. So the case study examination tests your knowledge, skills, and techniques from the three pillars within a simulated scenario and is taken at the end of each CIMA level. Now, CIMA has broadly three levels after the certificate level. The operational level, at the end comes the operational case study. The management level, at the end comes the management case study. Strategic level, at the end comes the strategic case study. So, at each case study level, you are supposed to be able to replicate the knowledge from the three pillars, which is in this case E1, P1, and F1. So if you are coming through the exemptions route, first and foremost, you will have to have good knowledge from E1, P1, and F1. Now, the case study exam is a fictional company that is given to you in advance. So you receive it let's say a month and a half in advance to your case study, a month and 2 weeks in advance to your actual case study exam. This is a fictional company that is given to you. So it's our job as part of the case study exam to understand every single part of that company and then relate your knowledge from E1, P1, and F1 to answer scenario based questions. So it's this case study is made up of mainly two pillars. The first pillar is E1, P1, and F1 knowledge. The second pillar is understanding the fictional company that is given to you. Both of these combined, you then need to write a well informed answer. So again, this brings out the first step, a very important step, which is the E1, P1, and F1 pillars. I will specify the importance of these pillars again and again because that's the most important part of this case study. In the operational level, close to 65% of your marks are based on how well you can replicate the knowledge from E1, P1, and F1. So, if that knowledge is lacking, you cannot give a complete attempt to the case study exam. So moving forward and giving you a little bit more detail, for exemption level students or students that are coming from a long break in their E1, P1, and F1 studies, the first thing we recommend is my OCS revision course. This revision course runs you through every step of E1, P1, and F1, every topic, every part of E1, P1, and F1, identifying the important areas and giving you case study specific knowledge. So if you have come through the exemptions, your first job is to really consolidate on E1, P1, and F1, and that is what our revision course does. Students coming from the exemptions route or needing refreshing of their knowledge are asked to go through the revision course because this is vital for their OCS prep. CIMA specific knowledge is something that students need to gather, and that is what my revision course is made of. Let's say you are a student who has recently finished their E1, P1, and F1 exams and have everything fresh in your mind. Still, there will be certain aspects, certain topics that you might have done a long time ago. Let's say you took the E1 exam first, which was 4 months ago. It's impossible to remember everything. So we still recommend the revision course along with our revision notes. You receive notes anyway, but if you want to supplement it with a video recorded explanation for each and every part, which is easier to listen to even when you're in a car, in a bus, in a train, and work, it's easier to listen to. So this helps you quickly brush up the important concepts. So at the onset, the case study exam is a scenario based exam that really needs you to specify on your E1, P1, and F1 knowledge. Coming to exam facts, you will have 4 questions in the exam, which will be of 3 hours. Total combined time of 3 hours. So each question is given 45 minutes. Now, let's say you start the exam and the timer starts to elapse. So it goes from 45 to 0 for question number 1. As soon as the timer hits 0 for question number 1 is submitted. You cannot look at the answer again. So in 45 minutes, answer goes away. You are automatically taken to question number 2. So question number 1, 45 minutes are up. You automatically move to 2, then 3, then 4. That way you complete your exam. So remember, in those 45 minutes for the first question, you will need to read the question, understand the question, plan for the question, make your points, and then actually type it out. So you can see that you might feel that 45 minutes is pretty decent, is a cushion time given to you, but no, it's going to be really stressful. It's going to be really, time constrained when you sit the exam because you have to do a lot of stuff. Now, if you've already practiced with us, if you've already practiced about 20 to 25 questions of practice, which we do, which is based on the blueprint, your brain is already trained on what it's supposed to do in the exam. And that's what we try to do, to get you ready for the exam, so that when you sit your paper, you exactly know what needs to be done. So this exam is all about practice. Now, case study updates. What's changed? Now the case study it's just called the case study. Earlier, it was called the integrated case study exam, which meant that in every answer that you wrote, there were a set number of marks, let's say 2 marks, 3 marks, 4 marks, 5 marks, whatever, which were set aside for your integration knowledge, for your integration skills. Which means that, let's say you're writing something on pricing decisions. So when you write about pricing, how do you recommend, let's say, an IAS? How do you recommend team management? How do you recommend digital management? Anything. If you were to link, let's say the question is about E1, but if you were to link P1 and F1 in your answer, some way, somehow, they gave you integration marks. But that is no longer existent. So in your answer, you don't compulsorily have to take E1, P1, F1 knowledge and combine it some way, somehow in your answer. If you were to do it, fine, but you won't be given extra marks for it. So why have they done this? Because the blueprints, the exam blueprints that we spoke about, the core areas automatically combine E1, P1 and F1 in every aspect of the core area that's been chosen. So for example, core area 1 will include stuff from E1, P1 and F1. So it's automatically combining it. Hence, they will not be giving you extra side-by-side integrative marks. If you were to do it in your answer, that's completely fine. It will be good presentation, but you won't be given extra marks for it. Second, the marking process has also changed, which we'll speak about now. Now, each case study has its I can statements or blueprints or core areas, which we will again look at. So first, to the role of a finance officer. So they tell you that you have been given the role of an entry-level finance officer. So what does a finance officer have to do? What can be part of your job? First, he offers insights that influence the decisions taken by colleagues and superiors. He's not taking the decision. He'll just give insights. He'll just give, details. He'll just explain the point of view from the company. Second, the role simulated is that of a finance officer working within a collaborative team in the finance department that is responsible for planning, coordinating business operations through the preparation of budgets and other reports. So what you have to do is focus on the short term and look at preparing financial reports, data reports, how to manage data, how to, prepare budgets. So you will be more on the preparation side. Third, he will make full use of technologies that are available for the collection, cleaning, and analysis of data. Now, this is something new with your E1 2019 syllabus, where they have brought a lot of change with data management, data collection, and all of that. So your E1 syllabus is also your part. So as you can see, we spoke about budgets. P1, we spoke about digitalization. E1, the finance officer also assists in the preparation of financial reports to enable external stakeholders to understand about the business. So this comes about financial reporting, which is your international accounting standards, so F1, and the fact that the finance officer's work affects the behavior of internal and external stakeholders can raise ethical implications, again part of P1 and E1. So as you can see, the role of a finance officer revolves around the three pillars E1, P1 and F1. So again, highlighting to you the importance of going through the core areas or the blueprints to the bare minimum of your syllabus. The operational case study exam assesses the learner on 6 core activities. So we always were speaking about the blueprints. Now, in the blueprints, there are 6 key main core activities that are revolving around the job of finance officer. Successfully implementing these 6 core activities will make your job easy. Now, what you see on your screen right now is the exact blueprints given by CIMA, is what CIMA has given us as core areas that we must focus on in the exam. Now, let's say core area 1 is prepare costing information for different purposes to meet the needs of management. So costing information, straight away take myself to P1 and somewhere E1 as well, because we will look at topics over here. So let's say the first one says I can use appropriate technologies to gather data for costing purposes from digital and other sources. So if you want to use technology to first gather the data, that's your E1 syllabus. And then use it for costing is your P1 syllabus. So as you can see, in each and every core activity, there are separate I can statements that will take you to different parts of the E1, P1 and F1 syllabus, which you are supposed to revise, which you are supposed to go through, which you are supposed to, at least have good knowledge around, because this is where your questions are going to come from. As part of our course, as part of our syllabus, with FinTutors, you get a full I can statement explaining document. So each and every I can statement is taken and an explanation is given. So we'll give you what are the appropriate technologies, how you can find it, how can you use it for costing. All of that comes from us. So you don't have to go back to E1, P1 and F1, find the topic, learn the topic and then come back. Everything happens in one place when you study with us. Our whole system is designed to make stuff easy for the student and to make sure the student has good value for whatever they're studying with us. Same way, you will be taking each I can statement at a time, ticking it off just to make sure you have done it, you have understood that part. And with our students who are doing the revision course with us, we do quiz questions with them based on these I can statements. And then we do exactly exam style mock questions as well, which are based around these I can statements and other important topics from the textbook, which is exactly like the exam, just to make sure you are very well prepared before you step into your examination room. So these I can statements are very important. You will pick them one at a time, revise the topics from E1, P1 and F1. They're quite broad, but still you will have to invest your time over there because this is where your questions are going to come from. So just to highlight again, just to tell you that these I can statements, these blueprints are important. And there are 6 core activities. As you can see, A, B, C, D, E, and F. Each of these core activities has weightings, and you can expect a question around these core activities in your exam, which we are going to do ample of practice on. Now, just again, taking you back to the exam, we told you that there is something which was changed with the exam, the exam pattern as well. Now, when you go into the exam, this is going to be the first screen that you see. It tells you the section number, the number of tasks, the time you have been given, and the number of subtasks which you have been given. Now, what happens in a CIMA exam is the exam is first marked out of 100. Okay, so the exam, every exam, they will first mark out of 100. You need to get an 80 out of 150 to pass. In your operational case study exam, you need to score a minimum of 80 out of 150 to pass. So why do the examiners mark it out of 100? The first thing is they mark it out of 100 and then it's scaled or it's weighted to 150 according to the difficulty of your exam. Now for the operational case study exam, CIMA has 4 variants. They create 4 examinations. So if I take the exam today, I can get, let's say, 4 questions. If you take the exam tomorrow, you can get 4 completely different questions. So there are 4 variants of the exam, and each variant has has different difficulties. All 4 cannot be the same. So depending on the variant you get, a weightage is applied to your score out of 100, and it's raised to 150, and then you need to get a minimum 80 out of 150 to pass. Okay, so some variants can be difficult, some variants can be easy. If it's a difficult variant and you were to get, let's say, a 50 over here, and it's a difficult variant, they multiply it by a higher weighting, and you might be able to pass your exam. Just a very simple example. So why did I mention this? Because sometimes it's easier for students to form their answers around this. Because if the exam is marked out of 100 and there are 4 questions, which means 25 marks for each question, right? And they have also told you the percentage of time you need to spend on each subtask. Now, generally in CIMA, they say that one good, well explained, detailed point is equal to 2 marks. Okay. So if question number 1 is worth 25 marks in total, and there are 2 tasks, I will split it into half. So each task is worth 12.5 marks. And if 1 point is 2 marks, I need to write 6 to 7 well explained points for task A. If I do that, I'll get my good marks. Same way for task B, because it's 50-50, I will again write 6 to 7 well explained points. Now when you do that, you fulfill their threshold. If they are well explained, they will give you the marks and you will pass the exam. So this is the more technical side of something new that they've given, which you can divide this way, which you can use this way. In the next question, it is 60-40. So you'll divide it accordingly. Now, why do I say this? Because sometimes students get confused. How much do I write? Do I just keep on writing? What is more important? Which task is more important? So this is right there for you. If you see a 50-50 distribution, you can write 6 to 7 points for each task, well explained, well detailed, giving a good structure, and you'll get your marks. This exam is all about details, details, and details. The more you explain, the more you give them explanations, the more you put your perspective, the more marks you get. Now, having put all of this aside, we always tell all our students when they're practicing, in a normal Word file, just be able to write 2.5, maximum 3 pages in 45 minutes, and you will automatically include everything. You don't have to do any mechanical calculations. Throughout the 25 questions of practice that every student does with us, we tell them stick to 2.5 pages on a Word file. So in the exam, how much ever you write is going to be enough, because your brain is already trained. Your brain has already gone through that process. So studying with us obviously has a good structural advantage. Next, on the bottom of the screen, you see something which is like a question. This is the exact, the exact way the question will appear in the exam, and the exact, presentation that the exam is going to present to you when you actually sit it. So as you can see, they give you a small scenario that we are planning to launch something else. So we are facing this problem. Can you help us with that? So they are telling you 2 things. I need a report from you, and I'm also keen for something else. So they give you 2 tasks, and each task is 50%. So all you have to do is give them 6-7 points for each well explained task, keeping in mind this scenario, obviously. So what I'm trying to tell you is, first you read the question, understand the theme of the question, and then start actually writing. Now, writing an answer, how to write an answer, what should be the structure, all of that also comes from us, but at a little bit later stage. This is just to show you what the exam is going to throw at you. Let's put all of these technicalities which we spoke about aside, to make the exam a little bit more easier, you need to think of yourself as working as part of the organization which you are given. Feel empathy for the organization, know the organization in and out, which we will help you with. Always put yourself at in the shoes of a finance manager at whatever company you've been given, and the answer will have more relevance. Always think you are part of the organization, and you won't have to consciously include every skill in your answer. It comes by itself with practice. Now, points to note: people always think that will they ask me a lot of calculations? Do I have to present? Do I have to prepare any calculations for the exam? No. The case study is the standalone exam. It does not require any detailed knowledge from E1, P1, and F1. It just needs you to be able to explain whatever you are writing in your own words. For that, you will need your basic E1, P1, F1 knowledge. You will need the basic understanding of the blueprints that we spoke about, because the detailed theory has already been tested. Now you only need to show your application, evaluation, explanation skills. So whenever you are revising any topic, don't try to mug it up. Just try and remember it in your own simple words. If you do that, definitely in the exam, you will be able to write a good answer with all the practice that we do. So I hope you've understood everything that this exam is truly about. We feel we've given you a really, detailed outlook as to how you're supposed to study, what this exam is about. So, bringing you to the last part as to how studying works with us. Now, with us, everything is very flexible, everything is on demand, and everything is how the student wants it to be. Each and everything about your operational case study exam comes from us. Whether you sign up for the full course, whether you sign up for the mocks only, you are all covered because everything comes from us. The full course gives you access to twice a week live weekly lessons, which is essentially created for discussions, is essentially created for answer checking, is definitely created to give you an approach of what is good, what answers are doing well. It's like a master class where we run you through the answer checkings and pretty much answer any doubts that you have. So these are twice a week. We support you as much as we can. And live discussions obviously help you clear your doubts. Along with that, you get the E1, P1, F1 revision course videos that we spoke about. You get personalized attention as always. Personalized attention has always given us our high pass rates. You get our E1, P1, and F1 notes. Most importantly, we help you practice your writing skills. So you get a full 25 exam style mock questions. So exam style mock questions are written on our online portal, which is timed and exactly like the exam. Each and every answer that you write is marked, checked, and corrected, professionally marked, and it gives you areas on improvement, how you can do well. You get model answers to look at as well. You also get our exam blueprint explanations, and you get a lifetime pass guarantee, which means if our course is followed, all our live lessons are attended, all our mocks are answered in the deadline, and you do well to not miss any class, not miss any mock, then we will allow you, if you sit the exam, sorry, and if you don't clear it for any reason, we will allow you to sit for the next OCS attempt absolutely free. You can look at our lifetime pass guarantee policy on our website, but we have you covered for everything that you need for your OCS full course. On the other hand, we have a mocks only option. The mocks only option gives you the E1, P1, and F1 notes. You don't receive the revision course. It gives you the exam style questions, which you are supposed to write and send back to us. All our correspondence happens on email itself, and it's on demand. and you get the blueprint, that is the core area explanations. So you can choose any any system or any pack that you like which suits your need. We are most happy to help you. So throughout this whole OCS video, I hope you've understood what this exam is, and I look forward to working with you very, very soon. Good luck, everyone.